Gone with the Wind isn't just a romance, it's a 1,000-page love letter to the Confederacy. I read it last month and I was stunned by how much was left out of the movie, and for good reason. Everyone remembers the film for Scarlett O'Hara, Rhett Butler, the dresses, the sweeping drama, but the book? Oh man. So what incriminating details of Margaret Mitchell's acclaimed novel never made it to the screen? Let's start with one of the worst ones. The KKK. In the novel, the Ku Klux Klan is framed as a heroic force, so much so that Scarlett's great obsession, Ashley Wilkes, is written as an active member. The movie does keep the infamous scene where Scarlett is attacked on the road and her husband and Ashley ride out for retribution. But instead of showing it for what it was, a Klan raid, the film sanitizes it into the image of Southern gentlemen gallantly defending women.
These ladies won't be on speaking terms with their husbands tomorrow.
But it wasn't just chivalry, it was the KKK. And we're supposed to be rooting for these people? And that's just the beginning, because the book doesn't stop at glorifying the Klan. I was really shocked by the overt pro-slavery sentiment. Yes, the story is told through Confederate eyes in the Deep South during the Civil War, but remember, the book was published in 1936. By then it was long settled that slavery was not good. Yet Mitchell's novel insists again and again that the formerly enslaved were happy, loyal, and longing for the so-called good old days before emancipation.
It ain't fitting, it just ain't fitting.
It even goes out of its way to mock Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin. And if you think that was just Mitchell writing from a Confederate perspective, she herself admitted otherwise. She once said in a letter, "It makes me very happy to know that Gone with the Wind is helping refute the impression of the South which people abroad gained from Mrs. Stowe's book." So what do the book and the movie share when it comes to overt racism? For starters, there's the loyal slave trope we talked about earlier. Both romanticize the Confederacy and lean hard into the lost cause myth, downplaying slavery as the driving force behind the Civil War. And then there's Tara. The plantation, held up as a paradise worth defending at all cost, ideally with enslaved labor. In both versions, Tara's survival isn't just about land or family, it's treated as the ultimate symbol of Southern resilience. The novel won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1937, and the film took home Best Picture in 1940. But even after the movie toned down many of the book's racist themes, it couldn't escape racism of its own time. Hattie McDaniel, who played Mammy, became the first black actor to win an Oscar, Best Supporting Actress. Yet at the same ceremony, she was almost barred from attending because the Ambassador Hotel enforced a no blacks policy. She was only allowed in after a producer pulled strings, and even then she was forced to sit at a segregated table in the back, far from her white co-stars.
I sincerely hope I shall always be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry. My heart is too full to tell you just how I feel.
I get it. It's always easy to criticize a work through a modern lens. We live in a very different world now than in the 1930s and 40s. When I picked up the book, I didn't know much about Margaret Mitchell or the history of Gone with the Wind. At first, I assumed Mitchell was simply writing from a Confederate perspective during the Civil War. But the deeper I went, the clearer it became. This wasn't just perspective. It was a love letter to the Old South, filled with nostalgia for what she openly framed as better days. Now I can't say whether the book or movie deserved awards purely on artistic merit. The characters are vivid, the world is richly drawn, and many scenes are undeniably captivating. Some of the dialogue between Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler is sharp and funny and even profound.
Sir, you are no gentleman.
And you, miss, are no lady.
Then you hit moments that stop you cold, like Rhett killing a black man who insulted a white woman, and the narrative treating it as completely justified.
I'd like to extend my apology for my conduct of last night.
So I think my next step is to finally read Uncle Tom's Cabin just to balance out some of the Southern pride propaganda I never really meant to ingest. Because if Gone with the Wind taught me anything, it's that stories don't just entertain us. They have the ability to shape how entire generations remember the past.